Greetings all, welcome to another session here at Tuzi Talks. This is our second installment of Moodle, and today we're going to be looking a little bit more at some of the user settings. We'll look a little bit at how to embed video and audio into your descriptions and into your schedule. We'll look at some of the major activities that typical teachers use in their classes, and then we'll just recap. If you have any questions, again, you can just send me a little message down below or shoot me an email. Let's get started right now and go look at some of these Moodle user settings. User settings are things like your email or your password or a description of who you are and that kind of thing. Let's jump over to our Moodle installation over here and take a look and see where we could go to get to modify that. You could go right here, just click on your name, and you'll be able to modify your profile. It's the easiest way to do that. Another possibility would be for you to go over here under My Profile Settings, and you can go in there and modify it that way. Since this is easier, we're just going to click on this, and we're going to go into My Profile and take a quick look at it. You'll note from here, you'll have to click on the Administration panel and then edit your profile. It allows you to open up your profile and take a look at it. So from here, there's a variety of things that you can look at. Please remember that you have these little buttons here that'll help you find out what each of these elements mean. Every time you see a question mark, you'll know what that information is. There are a variety of things that you can change. You can change your password. You can change your name, your email. By the way, if you're an administrator of a site, you can lock these things down so that your students can't change their name or they can't change their email. You can lock them down so that certain things will not change. I generally leave this open, and I had one student one time who wanted to change their name to Inigo Montoya and thought it would be funny if they could post a picture of Inigo Montoya and change their name to Inigo Montoya. And then they thought, what if everybody changed their name to Inigo Montoya? Which is actually possible. So you may want to lock those things down if you're an administrator. Anyway, so anything that's in red is required. There is a section here for how you edit text. And I would recommend that you leave this as an HTML editor. This thing right down here, this is an HTML editor. This gives you all those funky options with the buttons and whatnot that are sitting there. If you don't have a proper system, if you're not using a www compliant browser, these things may not pop up for you. Or you could shut them off manually and just use a standard form instead of an HTML editor. Recommend the editor. Definitely the better way to go. So you can also decide who sees your email. So you can look at that and decide whether you want people in your class or everybody on the site or nobody to see your email, just for privacy's sake. You can also upload a picture, and that's rather easy to do. You just click on the add button right here, and after you click on it, you'll browse and go find a picture. So I took a picture a little earlier, and so I'm going to take that picture and upload it. And after it's uploaded, I will use it. Just update the profile. So all I'm going to do is click right here on that little button. And I'll update the profile, and then that will be my picture. There it is. I've updated my profile. So if you want to change any of your profile settings, the thing to do is to click on your name and edit your profile. You can do that, and so can any of your students. So that's your profile settings. Those are most of the things that are in there. You can add a description of yourself if you want, and of course there are other things that you can do. But primarily people modify their name, their password, and their email. People sometimes upload pictures. Okay, let's go on to the next component here, and that's embedding media into your descriptions, into your schedule, and the like. The two major types of things that we're going to be embedding are MP3 and then Flash video, or FLV. Those are web-based video that you normally see on a lot of different places like YouTube or Vimeo or TeacherTube or GodTube. And they're all pretty much the same. They all use Flash video. Now, how do you embed those? Let's go take a look. Here's our class again, if you remember, from the last video. And we can turn on our editing just by clicking on this little button right here. So let's go ahead and do that right now. I'll click on that little button. And we can now add things to the course. We can modify things, if you remember what all these little buttons mean. So what I can do, for example, for this particular week, I can click on the edit button, the update button, and I can come in here and I can start typing stuff. So I'm going to start typing some stuff. Maybe I'm going to say, welcome to the class. Please listen. If I could spell properly. I'm going to put a period at the end there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight that period, okay, and I'm going to add a link to it. Okay, because I highlight it, and that's all I have to do is add a link. And right here's a link button. Again, you put your mouse over it, you're going to see the little pop-up window that tells you what it does. And I'm going to go look for an MP3. Now, I happen to have MP3s in my music folder over here. I'm going to click on music, and I'm going to grab an audio, a song. I don't really care what it is, and we'll just pick this one. And then we'll select the file and we'll insert it. Now you can barely see there's a link there, okay, but you don't need to worry about it. You've inserted the link with the song. The moment you save this, the system is going to recognize that that's a song, and it's going to add this little audio player into your course. So it's automatically going to be inserted. That's all you had to do was set the link. Once it's saved, so all you have to do is press the play button and the song will begin to play. I don't know if you can hear the song there. So all I had to do was add the link to it and the song would play. So that's all you have to do is add that link, and if you want to get rid of the link, you press the delete button. I'm sorry, press the edit button and go back in, and you can delete this particular link right there and it goes away. Okay, so we save this again and it's gone. All right, so this means that any activity where you have a description section, you can add audio to it. And the same thing would be true if it were video. Let's go back in here and reinsert our period. Okay, only this time let's quick run over to YouTube. And let's go look for a video. Okay, it's a lovely little video that's out recently that's very famous right now. And let's go copy the link for this, which is this one down here. So we'll copy this link, and then we should be able to get the video rather easily. So all we had to do is copy the link. All right, let's stop this video from playing. Let's jump over to our course, highlight that little period again, and add a link. Okay, we're going to insert a link again. And this time we're just going to paste the URL, the web address that we had, press insert, and again, there's a link there. You may not see it, but it's there. Just save the changes, and then it should just pop up as a video. Okay? Again, just an easy way to insert a video, and it'll play here just like it would play on YouTube. Put your mouse over, of course you can upload it to YouTube. Let's turn off editing here real quick so we can see it without without the other side. So that's what your students would see when they were to look at it. So that's how you insert video and or audio into your schedule, into any activity where you want students to watch video and or listen to audio before they begin to do something. I'm going to delete this out again just because I don't want to have it there, but I could obviously, and save it again, and then you'll note that the video is gone. That's really all you need to do is have a link to the video and or a link to the audio, and you'll be able to plop that in rather easily. So in future, we're going to be looking at other things. So for example, next we're going to be looking at assignments or forums or glossaries. And with forums and assignments in particular, you may have a description as, describing what you want your student to do. You're supposed to post a response, or you're supposed to respond to this whatever. You can respond to the video. The video could be above so that students can watch it or listen to it as they're trying to respond. Very nice little way to do that. Anyway, let's jump into some of the activities that you may be focusing on, you may be using when you go to set up a course using Moodle. First one I'm going to look at is assignments. There's an old way to do this and a new way to do this. We'll just look at the new way, and then we'll look at forums and glossaries and flashcards. First thing we're going to want to do is come in down here and click on activity and see if we can add an activity. Add an assignment. Remember, these are all gradable things. We're going to click on assignment. Assignment's going to open up, and we're going to have to give a title to this assignment. Okay, post a paper. Post paper 1. How about that? Post paper 1. And in here, we're going to have some type of a description. Again, you want to turn on your editing tools so that people, so that you have access to more of the options that are there. So you may say, okay, post paper 1. Okay, and that's probably going to be the title for that. So let's center that and maybe bold it. Maybe I'll make it a little bigger than everything else. Make it a little bigger there, and then what we'll do is we'll go down and we'll have some instructions, right? Maybe put some word instructions here. Okay, post your final, if I could spell, the paper is in PDF format, and that the form of the paper complies with MLA. Okay, and so that's all I'm going to have for instructions. You'll note there's a little square right here. I can grab this little corner here and drag it, not you. Grab this little corner here and drag it down and make it bigger if I want, or make it the size that I want. That I can do rather easily. Let's see here. That's better. So that's something that I can do. I can set the date. Okay. Bear in mind, right up here at the top, there's that little help button, which provides a lot of good, interesting help for what an assignment is and what you can do with it. Remember, as I said, I could take this period and then make a link and add an audio or video. I could actually put a link to some other data if I had other data that I wanted to link to. I can set the dates for availability, when it's available, when it's due, what the cutoff date is. So I can set all of those. Be careful when you do set these, because if you set off a cutoff date, students are going to be able to post afterwards. Just be careful with that. The type of submission, it can be an online text. So this paper could simply be something they post online. They write it online, they post it online, and they're done with it. It could be a file submission. It has to be a PDF or a document or an open office document or some other type of document. Or it's going to be comments. Okay, how many things can you upload? What's the maximum? Feedback type. Am I going to allow feedback? An off-graded worksheet? What kind of submission settings? Okay, am I going to require them to submit? Yes, they're done. Am I going to require them to read a statement? By posting this information, you agree to blah, 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 right? How many times are they allowed to reopen it? Okay, maximum number of attempts. If I want group settings, and I break my class down into groups, and I want group A to be able to access or group B to be able to access, I can do that. I can set the grade. It can be a simple grade, okay, like for example, or it can be a rubric. So you can come in here and set up a rubric where you have your standard rubric grid and put all those things in there. Once the rubric is made one time, you'll be able to use it in multiple locations. I will try to have a video created for developing a rubric later on. For now, we'll just use simple grading because it's going to be a little easier to do. Okay, and those are the main things, common modules. That's if you want to show it or not show it and what type of groups you have. But there's really not much here. You want to put in a title, a description, when it's due, okay, what type of submission they're doing, and then the grade. When that's done, you can save and display or save and return to course. Okay, when it's displayed, this is how it looks. Here are the instructions. Here's the grading summary. You as a teacher, you get to see this. You get to see all this information up here. Students will only see this information down here. If there is a rubric, the rubric will be displayed somewhere in here, and they'll be able to see the rubric if you want them to see the rubric. You can also shut the rubric off. So that's what that is. Okay, and let's jump back to our course, which is our sample course here. If we go look at our schedule again, we see that we've got a paper that's added here. And that's an assignment. That's the first thing that we wanted to look at, is to look at an assignment. Again, they can have advanced uploading. They can upload multiple things. They can upload online, they can do offline activities, and they can even do peer review in certain settings. We'll look at that again later. Let's go over and look at a forum, which is your primary discussion tool. You want people to read an article or watch a movie, and then you want them to discuss something. You're going to have them do a forum. Well, let's just click on forum here, and we can put in a forum and say respond. You know, let's just, what do we call this? To Ken. Okay, and maybe I put a description in here. After. Wish I could spell. Respond to the following questions, right? Okay, and so put a colon there, and let's go find this article. Let's go find this video. We'll go find the video that we want our students to be able to watch, and then review. So there it is. Let's go get a copy of the video. Go grab the link under the share. We'll grab that link and copy that and go back to our class. And so let's just highlight that colon there, turn on our editing tools, and click in here to add this video. So we'll add the video. So now it's inserted. All right. Now let's go to the end here, and let's ask some questions. Oops. What was the main idea of the talk? Do you agree? Explain. I'm not going to go into much more here. Let's just say, remember that this is a graded activity and that you need to respond to at least 3 of your peers' comments. Okay, so that's just a little explanation there that's going to come at the bottom of the description. Are you going to want attachments? Yes or no? Are you going to have subscription and tracking? Okay, subscription and tracking. What have I read? What haven't I read? That's tracking. Subscriptions. Am I going to get stuff in email? To let me know that somebody has posted something. Is there going to be a threshold for blocking? You're allowed to post 4 times, and then I'm not going to let you post anymore. What kind of grade are you going to give them? Again, you can give them a grade category if they're set up. The ratings. How are you going to rate these comments? Or is it going to be an average of a rating? The count of the ratings. In other words, count. You know, you do 5, you get 5 points for each one, type of thing for everyone. Sum of the ratings, minimum, maximum. You can set that up. Okay, and then when you're done, save and display. Let's go look at it. Okay, a quick review. So we put in a description. We put in, basically, we could put in our ratings for a score for the number. You know, how many points is this going to be worth? Let's say it's worth 20 points. Okay, and that's really all we did. Students have to know what this is. But when we go to click and save, the video pops up. So now we have, okay, after reading this, answer these questions. Students can click and answer. Okay, so now they're going to be able to post their answer here, but they can still watch the video while they're answering it, which is a very nice thing to do. Okay, so here's somebody who can post a response while they're listening to the video. Very nice feature that you can do. Okay, and I'm not going to go into any more detail with that. That's how a forum is going to work. Okay, and when they're done posting to the forum, people can then read and respond to each other by clicking on the reply button, which I am not going to show you now. Let's take another quick look at glossaries, which is another thing that we can add. Let's click on this and click on the word glossary, which is down here, glossaries. And a glossary is basically a glorified list of things that you want your students to either collect and learn, and they can do it together, or they can do it for themselves, they can do it for the class, or they can do it for multiple classes. My list. Oops. Okay, so we need a title, and so we're just going to make this another description here. My list of vocabulary. My vocabulary list for the whatever, for the science project. And I can give instructions here to say, this is what you're supposed to put. Make sure that you have, all the parts that you want. Make sure that you put in so many a day or so many a week. Okay, and the entries, do they need to be approved by the teacher, or can you just let them go? Can you allow people to edit them? Can you allow people to put comments on them? How is this going to look? And there are a variety of styles that you can have for looking. How's it going to be graded, if at all? How's it going to be rated? Similar to the forum, where they can be rated based on, the number of ratings or the sum of their ratings. You get each glossary input that they put in. If some are better than others, then you give them a better score, or whatever. Okay, when they're done, you just press on Save and Display again. Let's take a look. It's empty right now. So what we can do is we can add new entries. And as we add entries, this thing gets to get larger and larger. So here's a way for your students to develop a lot of vocabulary related to whatever it is their topic is. They can share this among themselves. They can share this within the whole class or within a small group, or even keep it by themselves. And so that's what a glossary is. Let's run back to the class again, hit the last one here, which are flashcards. And let's click on Activities again, and we'll click on Flashcard Set. Flashcards are different than a glossary. A glossary is just a list of words. A flashcard is a list of words that you're trying to memorize. So if you click on here what a flashcard is, they talk about the Leitner method, which is what this system uses. And if you know anything about Leitner and all the work that he did in developing the advantages of flashcards, anyone who uses a flashcard will learn from the system. The downside, of course, is that it's boring. So we need to find ways to make it interesting. In any event, you put in my vocab. You give it a title, and you can put in a summary of what you're learning. Again, if it's related to science or history or biology, geology, whatever, you can specialize it. You can also put things in decks. And in a typical flashcard system, you can have 4 or 5 decks. And the first deck is the main deck where you're learning new words. The second decks are words that you probably know a little bit, and eventually you get to the last deck, and those are things you don't have to look at anymore because you know them. And so you can have words automatically go up and down within the decks depending on how well you master them. Change on when you review them. Again, with the Leitner method, he discovered that there are certain intervals that you need to review a word in order to take it from short-term memory and push it into longer-term memory, and that's the reason for having multiple decks and multiple review sequences. If you want to learn more about the Leitner method, I would recommend you go out there and take a peek at who this guy was and what he did, and we thank him for it because we now have flashcards all over the place. We're looking at one here that's within the system, which is nice, but there are flashcard websites all over the place on the web where you can learn new vocabulary. You can learn the most important vocabulary for language learning or for any particular sub-area. So me, for example, I would be interested in learning the top 3,000 Japanese characters in order to help me study that. Well, they're sitting out there somewhere as well. In any event, this is the flashcard program, and let's save and display when we're done with this. And again, I have no cards, so I need to add cards. And as I add cards, I'm going to be able to play a game, just a free play. I'm going to be able to see a summary. I can edit my cards here. And this is where I'm going to be adding questions to cards, adding words to cards. Now, to do these manually, again, you're going to have your students do these manually, but then they're going to be able to own the cards. And so it's not hard to set up. As far as the initial shell, what's going to take time is putting in all the words. Again, I would share these among your students, and I would also allow them to play with it as a good activity. And those are the main components that I wanted to show you today. I do want to let you know that if you have a flashcard set up, all of these games that are sitting here would then be useful to you, because you can use the flashcards inside the program. in order to play those games. So we've looked at flashcards, we've looked at a glossary, we've looked at the forum, and we've looked at assignments today. We also looked at a little bit about how to embed media and took a little deeper look inside the user settings. If you do have any questions, you can certainly give me a holler down below or shoot me an email. That's all for now. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.